Hey everyone, welcome to Make It Rock, the show where I show you how I make it rock and how you can too. And who am I? I'm Thomas Christ, host of Make It Rock, and I thank you for joining me here today. What do we got here? Let's see who's in the chat. We got Jamie Lynn, what's up? We got Leela, awesome show earlier, and thank you for putting those links in for the Chaos Club and for super chats. Always greatly appreciated. And of course, hit that good old like button. Hello to my lovely wife downstairs. Hey, Dan Eckberg, welcome. Jade Star, great show. And thanks for sending folks over here. All right, we're gonna get into it. This is a controversial show today. We're gonna make people mad, and I should tread lightly, but I'll probably tread like an elephant because that's what I do. I just let me just anyway. We're gonna talk about all the great and wonderful thing that is AI. It's become all the rage, all that anybody can talk about. There's already been, across all of YouTube, probably umpteen thousand shows about the rise of AI and the influence that it's had on things, and now it's going to be umpteen thousand and one. But anyway, I'm more going to be talking about yeah, it's the way it's a contentious issue. But I'm telling you what, I'm talking more today. Hello, Hugh Caldwell, good to see you. I'm talking more today about my personal evolution with how this how I interact with this. And we also got I got some correspondence from a viewer. So and we'll be talking a little bit about that. Hey, Robbie Stingle, welcome. But for a long while there, I was using AI to do, mostly for the art stuff. I was using it to create thumbnails and stuff. And I kind of had a realization, and I was like, you know what? If I go on YouTube and I search just any random YouTube video, any subject, I'm gonna find a whole bunch of thumbnails that are created with AI because everybody's freaking using it. And I was like, you know what? Maybe the way to stand out is not to do that. So I've made this kind of like a choice to sort of not. I mean, you can't avoid it completely. Like, look, I'm not changing the world here today. That's not what this is about, because I don't have that power. That power was not given to me. The toothpaste is already way out of the tube. Nobody in the world. I mean, you could get the most powerful people. You get the Elon Musk. You get the Bill Gates. Whoever you think of, Bill Bezos. They can't put the toothpaste back in the tube even if they wanted to. So it's out there. I mean, it's a thing. So it's kind of a personal decision that it's like, I'm not going to use this stuff, and I'm going to first of all set myself a little bit apart. But also there's concerns, and there's a lot of stuff that, like, people are just putting a lot of trust in this stuff. It's like, oh man, I'm just Chat GPT can do all my work for me. I'm just gonna go to fucking Chat GPT and look everything up because it tells me all the answers. It gives me everything that I need to do. It'll write my song for me. It'll write my lyrics for me. It'll write my thesis paper for me. It'll do all this stuff. But the problem is that there's a lot of questions about AI. This is brand new technology. It's not to say that we should just like completely reject it. I mean, we can't because it's everywhere. I mean, I was watching a video not a couple days ago. We're talking about like it's in the apps. It's built in, like they're building it into all the apps. I just got an update for the app that controls my lights. We had the whole lighting saga a few weeks ago, and we had the whole lighting saga, and that app now has an AI assistant in it. For what reason, I don't really know. There's a lot of money in this, and it's like a lot of investors are like, "Oh man, you got to get on the AI, So they're putting AI in everything. It's AI this and AI that. You select text in anything your Apple device, and it comes up with things. Hey, do you want to rewrite this with Chat GPT? Do you want to reword this or make it briefer or whatever the case may be? It's everywhere, and So I think we have to be a little more thoughtful about this stuff because I'm thinking, if you're a content creator on YouTube, if that's what you do, and your whole thing is you're gonna make a video on a topic, and you got 20 other people that are making a video on the same topic. And let's say they're all going to chat GPT to find out what should I make, how should I do this? What topics should I cover and stuff. They're all going to be doing the exact same fucking video because they're not using their brain. They're just outsourcing it to chat GPT. It's concerning. It is concerning because we need original thoughts in the world. We really do. We really do need people's original perspective. I didn't come up with any kind of outline. I've never done anything like that. I never come up with an outline of any kind. If I did an outline, I would do it myself. I don't even do an outline because I'm way too lazy for that. Hello, Rhodey's Jam Cave. Welcome. And I'm gonna address. Now, I'm not really here to talk specifically about the music side. I mean, the way I think about it is like the full generation with music. If you're Suno, Udio, I hope we can all agree that stuff is it may be interesting, it may be entertaining, it may be good entertainment, but it's not anything that we should take seriously. But I think when hey Stephen Ewart, welcome. But I'm going to address some of the things that our good friend wrote to me. And our good friend, so this actually, I will say, came as a little bit of a surprise to me because this is a person who is very well known throughout the community for DAWless jamming. But he's got some thoughts about AI, kind of in support of it, and that would be our good friend Empirism. And so he kind of says here. And I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but taking an example, he gives the example of Dom Torregrossa saying that Dom's excellent songwriter, magnificent performer and player, and what if he used AI to do lyrics or wrote a whole song and then learned the chords, the vocal phrasings, performed it live, and people thought, damn, this is real music and not any AI shit. Yeah, I mean, you could certainly do that. But I feel like I've heard a lot of songs from him and a lot of songs from a lot of people over the years, and I feel like how did they do it all these years without that? They did it. And I don't know. It's one of those things like I can't make the decisions for you. But I can just give my perspective on it. But it's an interesting thought. And then saying about AI as a musical tool or even an instrument. Now, I get a little bristled sometimes. Hey, Dan Dinkler, welcome. Yeah, see, there you go. Right on, man. But sometimes the Logic has like a drummer, session player, and stuff. Sometimes that is referred to as AI, and I don't really know that I would agree with that. But yeah. I kind of feel like it's really more like the drummer and stuff. It's really more of like a sequence, like a smart sequencer than it is really a true AI in the sense. But that's the thing about AI too is it is kind of like a sleight of hand because a lot of it's really not as sophisticated as what they're marketing it as. But I don't see anything wrong with using those kinds of things because it's really not doing the work for you. It's just kind of doing it more intelligently, which I don't think is a huge problem. Hey, Gore Team 85, welcome. And then he says I can do a lot of genres without AI for various tools like DAWs, synthesizers, guitars, play bass, use virtual instruments. But why should I not take advantage of the best tool humans ever created? Well, I would disagree a little bit on that. The best tool that humans have ever created. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Time will tell. Time will tell. We may be looking back on this and thinking, my goodness, what have we done? But I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Some of it. I think lines are going to be drawn. I think it's going to be like, okay, we'll accept this, but we're not going to accept this. And this is what I'm talking about. We don't know where these lines are going to fall. And a lot of the stuff that's created with AI, I say this with the music all the time. There are three people that have potential to say, and a lawyer would know better than me, but there are three people that could potentially stake a claim to ownership of AI created stuff. One of them would be the platform that it's created on. One of them would be the person typing the prompt, and the other person would be the person that, or the artists that are being used to generate the stuff. So that's three different people who have a legitimate claim. Where is that going to fall? We don't know. And that's why I would say, man, pump the brakes a little bit. Pump the brakes a little bit. You know what I mean? Just um so that's the thing I wonder about. And if you create stuff that uses partially AI and then they say, well, those rights actually belong to the people that that the people that were being kind of sampled or trained from, then you have stuff that's copyright to other people. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of gray areas, man. A lot of stuff that's not just set in stone. Where if you create something, it's yours. No question, no question. So I don't want there to be any question for me personally. And then he says here, one more thing, vocals. Well, I'm not a good singer. I don't even want to be. I don't have time to train myself to do it. Many great singers are in the community who could send vocals for musical pieces and who done collaborations. Takes time, usually weeks. Yeah. If I have a vision in my mind and want to have female vocals, for example, to tell my story, why don't I just use AI and I can finish my song in that day and move to focus to the next one? It's definitely not as good as these talented people could send me and not have that much quality, but it can get the job done close enough. And I just think it gets back to that, where are these voices coming from? And there is always the option, and none of these services are free that do this. I mean, you have to pay money for this stuff. So why not take that money and give it to somebody like, now you have to do your homework because there's people out there who will take advantage of you, but there are definitely like singers and stuff that are on services like Fiverr and things like that, where you could go to them and you could say, hey, I need vocals for this. And probably within a day or two, they could have it back to you. And it'd be a real person. And, it would be a much higher quality. And you wouldn't have to worry about, well, I don't know who these rights belong to. Because that would all be sorted out with whatever that person's terms of service are. But, just things to think about. Things to think about. Tremor Bear says here, I know some studio musicians who are singers. They sing parts for artists who can't hit the parts, just like studio guitarists or bassists. Exactly. And then well, it's not being just like ripped off of. Hi, 13 Scribbles, by the way, welcome. Some of our favorite bands and artists aren't singing or playing on the record. It's other real people. Yeah, and that's been my point all along. That you can do that. Hey, Sean Chandler, good to see you. Let's see what else Empirism had to say here. So I have no fear to admit I use any instrument, any lesson, any tool I can imagine to create musical visions that my messed up mind needs to get out of AI. It needs to get out. AI is an excellent tool for that. Not only one, not crucial one, but brilliant. I mean, yeah, and I think eventually somewhere down the line the dust will settle on this. Another option too when it comes to vocals is we've had people in the community who have used the vocal synths. Now I would argue that's probably the more difficult way to do it, because you literally have to type in every syllable and make it sound natural, and it's a real skill to learn how to do that. But it is an option. So there's different perspectives on that, and I welcome Empirism's perspective here. I'm not sure that I 100% agree with it, but I definitely see where he's coming from. Although I would say he's got the whole room full of all the awesome equipment, man. He can do anything he wants without even a DAW. You know what I mean? So I give him credit for that. But thank you to Emperism for that those insights, and hopefully I did an all right job addressing them. But yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to say about it was I had been using it, like I said, for the thumbnails primarily, and the idea was, well, it'll get him to look more professional, it'll get him to stand out. Well, the thing about that is, if everybody's using that, and now everybody is, I look around and all I see is AI, 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 AI. Like you just, you stand out more if you're not using it. It's like, oh, you're not using it. Wow. Well, that's awesome. I don't know. That's just the thought I had. But yeah, But you can do what you want to do. On this very show, I demonstrated making. Oh yeah, this is another thought. See, I'm actually a lot more moderate on AI than my significant other, and she thinks that all the like AI generated art stuff all looks like it's got this yellowish tinge to it. And you know what? I think she might be right about that. She's usually right about not everything. She wants to think it's always everything, but most things though. You don't have to go away. You don't have to go away. But you're still writing and singing your own music. Yes, exactly. That's the most important thing. Hey, Mix Club, welcome. Hugh Caldwell says, I need to write lyrics for an original, but I want to do it myself, even though I suck at lyrics. See, that's the thing. Here's another thing about that. Let's take a look at Hugh Caldwell's example right there. So what's going to happen is Hugh's going to write lyrics himself, and they may not be the greatest lyrics ever written. They may be. Who knows? They're not written yet. But the one thing that will happen is Hugh will grow as a lyricist from that experience. And the next time he has to write lyrics, he'll be a little more comfortable and it'll come a little more naturally. And the more he does these things, the more skills he's going to get. But if you just go to AI and look it up, then that's not going to happen. Those opportunities for growth won't occur. And 13 Scribble says AI is humanity's biggest enemy other than billionaires. And you know what? That may be right too. That may very well prove to be correct. I'm very concerned about that. I don't think that book is written yet, but I certainly approach it with a great deal of caution and a great deal of skepticism. It's a nuanced thing because I don't know that it's doing anything that it really couldn't do before. I don't think it's as novel as what it's made out to be, because this kind of stuff has existed for quite a long time, and they're just putting it in fancy wrapping and putting a bow on it. But you know what? When I was on AOL Instant Messenger, a lot of this stuff is like it has a conversation with you. And when I was on AOL Instant Messenger, you remember about AIM? Everybody was on AIM. Remember back in the AIM? Remember the AIM? You remember the AIM? Everybody was on the AIM. Well, back in those days, they had a thing called Smarter Child, and it was an AI bot that you could talk to, and it would have an intelligent, semi-intelligent conversation with you. This is back in 2007, man, 2008, maybe even earlier than that. Smarter Child, yeah, so you remember us. It's going to be used as map. See, yeah, I'm concerned about that. I'm very concerned about that. Gore Team used ICQ. That might have been on ICQ too. I don't know. But it definitely was on AIM. And I don't think it was the only one. I think there were a bunch of them. But the Smarter Child was the one I remember. And you could sit there and talk to it. And it would give you like semi-coherent answers back, And that's kind of what I look at, like ChatGPT. It's like search engine, but it's a search engine you can talk to. Now they all have this. Because, look at this. If I go right now, if I go over here and I look up, this is just Google. If I look up how to mix a song. And you see this first thing here? Well, it's pulling it from ice. It actually didn't do the thing I was hoping it was going to do. Usually when you look up I don't know, let's reword it a little bit. Mixing a song. See, it's not it's making a liar out of me. Look at this. Look at this. Usually it gives you like an AI answer at the top. So it's basically doing the exact same thing that Chat GPT does, but it's Google. But of course on that one it's not doing it. But you've experienced it. You know what I'm talking about. You usually you look something up in Google now, and it gives the first thing that it gives you is like an AI answer, and then the other stuff is down below it. But I think it's good. And hello to Denise, welcome. Um, but I think it's good to have the ability to see the different links and look and kind of gather information for yourself rather than just letting the machine do it. That's just my thought. Yours may be totally different. Tremor Bear says my brain isn't compatible for AI. Hey, Ed Zelinsky, welcome. Good to see you. But yeah, it's very it's a very nuanced topic, and it's a very personal topic. Each person is going to come up with their own maybe I'm doing a little bit of fence sitting here on this one, but everybody's going to come up with their own personal approach to this stuff. And I know I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I will never use AI for anything, because I know that's not true. Like I said, a lot of times you do a Google search. I'm going to try this one more time. I'm going to look up something ridiculous though. I'm going to look up how to search on Google. Oh, see, there we go. AI overview. That's what I was looking for. To search on Google, type your query in the search bar, and see it's all highlighted and stuff. And it at least does give you the links that it's referencing here. And then it gives you the more detailed breakdown. See, and you have to scroll all the way down, and there's dive deeper into AI. So this isn't even AI mode. This is just normal mode. And then you go down here and you find the normal links and stuff. Now, why you would be searching Google, to figure out how to search on Google, I think you've already figured it out then. Yeah. When Amelia makes her YouTube channel, there won't be any fence sitting. She is anti-AI 100%. I am more, I'm taking a cautious approach, and I'm just saying that dare to be different, dare to be different. Don't, you can, there's other ways to do things than that. And I'm just saying that because everybody else is doing it. Gore Team 85 said the movie The Forbin Project from the 70s predicted the dangers of an AI future. I think there was stuff all the way back. You could go back to the 1800s where they were envisioning a world where there would be things like that. And and they thought the 1950s was not 100%, but very critical. John fucking Connors, people. Yeah. I thought your name was email. That's funny. But yeah, I'm much less concerned about this whole thing of the AI is going to, and yes, Marx talked about it back in the day. Automated machines. I mean, we already have. I mean, we've had that for a long time. But yeah, I'm less concerned about this whole thing. Like some people are worried about, well, the AI is gonna go. They're gonna get so much intelligence that they're going to somehow plot some kind of thing against. I don't think that's gonna happen. Because I don't think this stuff is anywhere near as sophisticated as people think it is. Like the AI music, you know what it literally is? It's sampling. You could do it yourself. You could take little bits and pieces, and you could use like a stem separator and get little bits and pieces out of different songs and stitch it back together and make it work somehow. If you were really, I mean, it'd take a long time to do, but you could do it. You could definitely do it yourself. Um, I don't think any of that stuff's gonna happen, but I do think that who controls the AI, because the AI doesn't give you all the options. It just tells you like this is it. This is the answer. So if it's telling you this is the answer, then you're not seeing any other possibilities. And if the people controlling the AI want you to have a certain answer and not the other one, then they're going to tell you that. And everybody's going to believe it because the AI said so. You see what I mean? Also, we run into the problem. I talk about this a lot. Tron. Okay, so not Tron, but Metropolis. Yeah. Hello, Driven to Right, MJK. Good to see you. But yeah. One of the other things that I have concerns about is not intelligence, but lack of intelligence. And this occurs across many fronts because if people aren't putting original content into the world, which is where the AI draws its knowledge from, then it's going to start eventually, it's going to be referencing other AI stuff. And when it does that, you know what happens when computers start to reference computers? They just devolve into nonsense. So eventually, you could just devolve into nonsense with this. And people are going to be like, how do I cook a chicken? And it's going to be like, get a rock and, put it in the refrigerator overnight. And it's like, what? And then we're going to have to get rid of it because it's all wrong. Robbie says, the automated checkout at the grocery asked for payment method. I said robbery. It responded that authorities were contacted and asked if I was a fleeing felon. Mixclub says, right now it's shit in, shit out. I'm more interested and worried about quantum computing. Yeah. Clark was writing about this in the 50s. You're right on with that one. Artificial intelligence. There's Clark did invent the geosynchronous satellite. But yeah, this is not a novel concept in any way, shape, or form. Hello, Jenny Jolivet, welcome. It's not a novel. It's not a novel concept at all. But it is a concept that I think people are just putting all their trust into. It's scary that like something that literally just came out like within the last 2 years, and everybody's like, yes, AI, we'll do whatever you say. Just tell us what to do. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. And now the kids that are in school are using this to, basically, this to an extent, this isn't new. Because when I was in school, there's a thing that was just coming out. It was called Wikipedia. I know everybody, we all know Wikipedia. We love Wikipedia. But when I was in school, Wikipedia was just coming out, and everybody got the bright idea. Hey, you know what? Let's do. When we have to write a paper, we're gonna go to Wikipedia and we're gonna copy everything, and we're gonna put that into Microsoft Word or whatever, and then we're gonna just change the wording a little bit. We go through, and it's like, oh, that doesn't sound like I wouldn't say it that way, but maybe I would say it this way. So we did that. And, it was very, and it was a problem in the day. Problem back in the day, teachers trying to figure out whether or not people did. And I can tell you from experience, they couldn't always detect that either. So they sure as heck aren't, doing great detecting, when somebody writes their thing whole cloth out of AI. They're going to get better at that. And that's something that we really have to invest in more, I think, and see more happen. We need to have more AI detection. I think it's just a thing that we need to have across the board. We need to be able to tell if a video is real or fake, because people can put stuff out there with political figures and stuff and make them do things that they didn't actually do and make them say they're already doing that. They're already doing it. And we need to be very careful that we know what's real and what isn't, So that's a big concern too. And the bottom line is, like, I don't want to spend a lot of time. Um, Amelia says, yeah, but with copying wiki, you still need the critical thinking skills to know where to start. Well, that's true. Um, like, this is worse. This is definitely worse than that. And the thing is, like, I think a lot of times they could, if you read the Wikipedia article and you read the person that transcribed it, they're gonna figure it out eventually. But when it's writing it a little different each time, that's what makes it a lot harder. So, hey, Frank Turzo, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Um, so yeah, there's just a lot of concerns with this that I just don't know that people are thinking about, and I hope they are. I hope they're thinking about these things, and I hope they're thinking about the potential, not just right now in the immediate, but down the line, what will happen? When you rely on Chat GPT, when you rely on creating images and videos and stuff with the AI, not to mention the music side of it. But it's something that we all have to think about. Um, Mix Club says been researching some of it. It's interesting how they're catching the video, the footprint if AI, yeah. So it leaves a footprint because it always follows a pattern because it's a program. It's a program. Like a program always follows a pattern. That's why I'm saying if 10 people ask the Chat GPT about a topic for like an outline for a video or something, they're all going to get the same answer basically. It might be worded slightly different depending on what settings you have and so forth, but and yes, that's a good point. It also a drain on the environment. Electric bills are getting higher because of the data centers. That's a great point. Now that's not a thing for us. That's not our problem because that's one of those things where the problem is the corporations that are doing this stuff. What we do has nothing because they're already doing it. They don't care whether we use it or not. They're going to keep doing it because that's where the money is. And that's in a capitalist system. They follow the money. So the money's in the AI, so they're going to do the AI. Robbie says Oklahoma is fighting data centers. Yeah, I mean it's just another bean on the scale. With the environment, and we're not doing anything about that, and then we're adding this on top of everything else, and it causes a real problem. Humans, Tremor Bear says humans created artificial intelligence, therefore it's fucked. I know, at least I know as a human. Yes. Well, that's always true too. Yeah, I use tons of electricity and water. Yeah, I know. It's that's what I'm saying. It's just stuff we got to think about. Now though, I don't know that those problems will be long-term problems because they probably will figure out ways to do it. As the chips and stuff become more and more powerful, they'll figure out ways to convince it. I mean, eventually you're gonna have phones that do everything that Chat GPT does, and it'll do it all on your cell phone. I have no question that that'll happen, but until then, it's an issue. When I was a kid, we can only count up to one. But yeah, so it's just giving you some food for thought when it comes to using the AI tools and so forth. And the text stuff and video stuff and certainly the musical stuff, and that brings up a whole bunch of other questions that again, three people could have a claim to it, and which one will it be awarded to? My money is probably on, just because money and capitalism. My money is on the platforms. I think they're going to be ultimately the ones that will have ownership because they'll be able to afford the most high paid lawyers. So, and I'd love to see something where like artists and stuff, when they put music out, could opt out of being fodder for training for the AI too. Um, there's also stuff that people are working on. I've seen a lot of great stuff from like Ben Jordan, where he's working on stuff. I think I've talked about it here on the channel before. He's working on stuff like that can confuse the AI. So when you listen to it, it sounds like a regular piece of music. When the AI tries to listen to it, it has secret signals in there that confuses it and causes it to not be able to learn from it. Amelia says, "Don't forget the poor deceased artist having new songs that are AI create." Yeah, and there's just something that's a little bit, I don't know, unsettling about that. Tremor Bear says, "I need to read more. My dad read so much." Yeah, I mean, we could all probably read more and learn and continue to grow. I mean, yes, I got the song. Yes, and we got You Rock coming up tomorrow. I'll tell you what, the show is just about completely full. In fact, I may go and turn off the form right after this show because we are probably over capacity at this point. But I hope you'll tune in tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic show. Got a lot of great artists on there. Now, I do want to open it up. If you have any questions about the AI subject or about home studio recording, we can take a few minutes here. If you have any questions, that I can answer your questions. But I just wanted to put some thoughts out there on all this because I just see all this happening and it's like, oh my goodness, what is going on? What is happening here? It's like everybody is just like giving everything over to this, and I don't know. It's crazy. I know. I tried to get her to come on this show to talk about this when she didn't want to come on. Thank you, Jamie. Well, see that's what happens when you just put stuff out there. Frank Terzo says, "I'm not a big fan of AI, but I think I'd buy into it if the Steelers can create a 21-year-old quarterback." Yeah, I mean, we'll see what old man Rodgers has left in the tank. I'm excited to see. Just imagine if you could go back 10 years and say, imagine that you could go back 10 years and say, we would have the Pittsburgh Steelers would have after Ben Roethlisberger retires, Russell Wilson and then Aaron Rodgers. But it's not like you think though. Don't get excited. Jade says, "Internet Attorney covered." Yes. That was a great episode. Make sure you check that out. She's got lots of great content. There's a internet music. In fact, let me see if I can find her link. Maybe Jade will probably find it before me. Internet music lawyer. There we go. Top Music Attorney is the name of the channel. And I'll put that in there for you. And she's got, and especially on all this AI stuff, she's got tons and tons of great content about that. So there's the video. Thank you, Jade. And there's the link to the channel. And Robbie doesn't actually promote. Well, you do promote your music though. That's not totally true. You send your music into You Rock, so you do kind of promote it a little bit. Hey Pete, what's going on? Need to watch this one on replay. I feel like dumber. I use too much AI. I mean, like, it's just it's one of those things, man. It's just become like this default thing that everybody's going to, and I'm just here to like be the crazy guy that's saying whoa. Is that what I do? Whoa. Let's pump those brakes there, buddy. Because you always need somebody like that. Somebody's got to do it, I guess. All right. But yeah, if you have any oh, thank you. Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate that. uh, but yeah, if you have any like home studio questions or anything you want to ask about, I'm interested to. I'll be happy to answer any questions. But I've been working on the album. I'll tell you that album is getting pretty close. Album is getting pretty close. That's all I can say. How come I don't do stuff on Logic anymore? That's a great question. Well, probably because I don't really use it a whole heck of a lot. I use it for some drum stuff, and that's basically it. I really use FL Studio because for me, I've talked about it before on the channel, but like FL Studio just works with my brain. And it's like it's also because I've been basically using FL Studio with the exception of maybe like a 2 year period or 2 to 3 year period. I've been using FL Studio since back in like 2005 or so. So when you use something that long, it's just natural to just go back to that. Um but there are some things I like about Logic more than FL Studio, but in the broad strokes, I kind of vibe with the way that FL Studio works. But I'm certainly open if there's anything you think I should be covering on Logic. I'll be happy to do it. Just like with Empirism, you give me content, and I'm gonna latch on to that. Like I'll be like one of them things, latching right onto it, like one of those things, barnacle, like a barnacle on the side of a boat. I'll be like that barnacle on the side of a boat, like, and anything that's gonna give me something to talk about here on the show, I'll be happy to talk about it. Frank says my feelings are I consider those who use AI for music content creators, not musicians. Yeah, I mean that's yeah. I'm not even sure. It depends. Really depends on the way that it's being used. 13 Scribble says I'm not familiar with FL Studio, but it's my understanding it doesn't have the ability to truly mix music. No, that's not accurate. That is, I mean, eh, I've done how many albums on FL Studio? I think it works all right. I think it works all right. I'm not the greatest at it. But it definitely has all the tools you could possibly need. In the beginning, that's what it was. Now that's probably where that comes from because when it started out, FL Studio was literally just like there was some samples and you can put in it was like a drum machine and a sequencer. It was kind of basic, but they've built it out since then, and now it has pretty much everything you would want a DAW to have. It just works in an unconventional way, and I think maybe that puts people off. And there are certainly some things that could be more intuitive about it, but they've tried to make it so you can do anything however you want, which is great if you know the way that FL Studio works. It's great. If you don't know the way that it works, it can be very confusing because it just works totally different than most things that mix music. But you can certainly use it. It's better for electronic music, but Jade Star says it's content all right. Content to not actually learn to make music. Yeah, that's the thing. We want people to learn to make music and be better at what they do. Yeah, absolutely. Well, big dance hits have been produced on FL Studio. Hip hop, they use a lot in hip hop. And Frank is trying to be nice about it. Yeah. Hey, Javel, welcome. Now, it wasn't really my point today was not really to talk about the AI music side of it so much because, like I said, I just feel like that to me it may be entertaining, but it's fundamentally dishonest. Like anybody that's trying to like pass off like this is my original music and I created it in Suno or something or Udio. Well, I mean, to me, I just take it for granted. That's wrong. It's just wrong to do that. Um, But I'm talking about these other tools that everybody's using for the basically as like a search engine replacement. Um, so right on, Frank. Yeah, we got to keep it real. The hip hop songs created in FL Studio, but they've been mastered. Well, yeah, I mean, you're any professional track, they're gonna send out to one of the big mastering houses, of course. But the mixing you can do in FL Studio. I will. Yes. Hello to GarageBand Cover. Welcome, GarageBand Cover. Like I said, at this point in the show, I'm opening the floor up. We got a few more minutes left. If there's any last minute home studio questions, I don't want to make this all about the AI stuff because it's been beaten to death. You can go over to Top Music Attorney and she'll give you an actual lawyer's perspective on it, which I'm certainly far from that. So, but it is going to be it's going to be interesting how that evolves. But I do think there's going to be those lines where we will accept up to this point, and then beyond that we won't. And there's also a lot of legalities that have to be figured out. Floor, carpet, or hardwood? You here? Carpet. Really, really old and not great carpet. Tremor Bear says recording is difficult for me, the technical aspect of it. Yeah, and that's the thing. We have to keep learning. We have to keep growing. We have to use all the opportunities that we have. And the best learning that there is, I think, is just getting out there and doing it. You could talk, you can listen to all the tutorials in the world, and that's not going to be any I think Tremor Bear happens to be, every track I've heard from Tremor Bear has been amazing. But you can listen to people talk about it for so long, and sometimes you do need that. But at some point, you just got to get in there, and you got to get your hands dirty. You got to do it, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and eventually, 20 years later, you might get halfway there. That's been my experience. Doing this for 25 years, and I feel like I know half the stuff. And the other half I still need to learn. So, and the things are always changing, just like we're talking about here today. There's always changes and different things happening. So learning is a lifelong endeavor if you choose to embark on it. Hugh Caldwell says, I love to improvise and love exploring. How far can I take a composition on the spot? And it only comes from hours of practice. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. And being able to do that, and the more you do it, the easier, theoretically easy. Not that there won't be rough patches, because there will be, but it'll get easier as time goes along. Charm Bear says, I love recording. I don't like being in front of, except when I drive a car. Yeah. All right, take care, Dan. We're probably going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. Anyway, once again, we got a big You Rock coming up tomorrow. I think we are at our capacity probably. So I'm gonna be shutting down the forum for just a short while, and then it'll reopen tomorrow at the beginning of the show. So I hope to see you there. If anybody has any last minute questions, let me know. All right. Hey, Dynamite Throw. Good to see you. But yeah. And I don't know what I'm doing. I got the hour of rock coming up on Saturday. I think it's gonna be track 10s, and then I think it might be something like 10 is the end or something, because we're gonna wrap that whole series up. Because I don't know, there's all any triangle in the next track. No, but we could it could always be added. We could always add a little triangle to the mix, and but if I see fit for there to be triangle, then we'll put it in there. Well, I'm not I won't hesitate. I won't hesitate to bust out I don't actually have one, but I probably have a sample of it somewhere. Who's got a triangle, man? I haven't seen a triangle since in the flesh since I was in like high school. Down in the band room. Probably had one down there. They probably had one down there. But yeah, busy night. What? Oh, triangles samples. More cowbell. Yeah. The show is taking a turn. I know it's getting to the end, and that's what happens. That's what happens at the end. It gets interesting at the end. But I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate you checking out the show. Hope you enjoyed my Frank says maybe you or Jade or Pete should do a show titled "Is it AI or is it real?" Yeah, that could be. That could be. That could be. But it's tough to tell. I could tell it was fading out. TC. Yeah. I've hit that 45-minute mark or so of straight talking compared to tracks. Yeah. I mean, there actually is, and this is something I was talking about earlier, detection. There is some good AI detection out there, at least for the music stuff. And actually there is for text as well, but a lot of it is behind massive paywalls. So that's the problem with that. Is it AI or is it good? That's a different question. But anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap this one up right about here. I appreciate y'all being here. I'll be back with you next week. Promise you, we'll do something a little more. Since we did this one this week, we'll do something a little more music related next week. I don't know what, but I'll cook something up in the meantime. I'll get in the kitchen and I'll cook something up, make a new recipe, and I'll let you know. All right, we got some parting thoughts here. I think I can still hear it, but what happens when we can't? It's getting tougher and tougher to tell. Jade says the problem is the models are growing so fast the detectors can't keep up. That is true. That is true. But fortunately, one of the things is that these things have only existed for a certain period of time, so you could go back and use stuff that is older potentially to figure it out. But in the basement mixing up the medicine. Right on, Brad. Good to see you, Brad. All right. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. We'll be back with you after Leela and Jade tomorrow with You Rock. And then, of course, I will be back on Saturday for Hour of Rock. And then we'll be right back here next Tuesday for another Make It Rock. So, and as a final thought here, it sucks to have to be a detective in 2020. I feel like I'm Columbo or something. One more thing. One more thing. How did you create that track anyway? It's life in 2025. Isn't it grand? All right, everybody. Have a great evening. Much love. Take care. And keep rocking. Bye-bye.